Who wants some Chinese food?
Me.
Okay. Well, you heard it. You could hear the excitement in their voices when I asked who wanted some Chinese food. Personally, I really love Chinese food, and I don't think I've met anybody who doesn't. In my opinion, I believe that the Chinese are one of the best chefs in the world. They have a lot of a variety of dishes and very lovely dishes as well. One of my favorite restaurants in the UK is in Luton, Hong Buffet. It's a Chinese restaurant, and they do really, really lovely meals. In fact, whenever I go there, I spend like hours, in the restaurant. Anyway, today for this video, I have made a Chinese noodle cake, Chinese stir-fry noodle cake to celebrate China. So if you'd like to know how I made this cake, keep watching the video till the end. And also guys, spoiler alert, we're gonna have special guests at the end of this video. They're going to join us in the taste and judge session. So if you want to hear their thoughts on what the cake is like, keep watching until the end, and I hope you enjoy the video. I've got my cake here. This is a 12-inch cake which I baked using my normal vanilla cake recipe, times 2 of it. I'll leave a link to the cake recipe in the description box below. I'll then place a 6-inch round cake plate on top of the cake and start carving the cake. So here I used the cake plate as my template, but you can also use any round 6-inch template, such as a cake circle cut out from cardboard. As you can see from the video, using the top template as a guide, I'm slanting my knife to get a curve that slopes downward, if that makes any sense. I'm also taking off just a little at a time so I don't take off too much, because that will be difficult to fix. After carving the cake, I attached my 6-inch cake plate to the cake and then went on to coat the cake using chocolate ganache. After coating the cake with ganache, I put it in the fridge for 20 minutes to harden the ganache. When the cake had hardened, I applied a second coat of ganache to get a smoother finish, and then I went on to prepare a board to raise the cake about 2 cm off the surface. I prepared this board by taping together a circular board and some foam board about the same diameter as the wide part of the cake, and then I transferred the cake to the prepared board. So to do this, I placed another cake plate on top of the cake and flipped the cake over. After flipping the cake, I placed some parchment paper on top of the cake and then the board which I prepared earlier, after which I cut the parchment paper to roughly the same size as the board and then flipped the cake again. So the wider part of the cake was now at the bottom. Next, I put the cake in the fridge, and in about 20 minutes, when the second coat had hardened, I brought it out, placed a cling film over it, and then smoothened it further using a fondant smoother. So guys, when I had smoothened the cake to the point where I was satisfied, I went on to prepare my fondant. So I've got here some fondant already colored black, and I'm just going to start rolling it out. Notice I put some corn flour on both the fondant and my surface, just to prevent the fondant from sticking to either my surface or the rolling pin. When I was done with rolling the fondant, I put some more corn flour on it, rolled it onto my rolling pin, and then covered the cake. I've now dripped the fondant over the cake, so I'll start smoothing it out using my hands and then later a fondant smoother. Here I'm just using an X-Acto blade to cut off the excess fondant. Now I'm using a fondant smoother to further smoothen the fondant. While smoothing the fondant, I also used the smoother to remove the excess fondant at the base, and then when I was done with the process, I placed the board on top of the cake and flipped the cake again. When I had flipped the cake, I now removed the board from the cake top and then started folding the edges slightly so that a small part of the wok lip still remained. Before I started folding in the fondant edges, I first of all removed the first parchment paper. As I said I would earlier on, I'm just folding in the edges of the fondant. Notice I'm using the fondant smoother to press down while I fold and smoothing with my hands. When I was done folding the lip of the wok, I went on to make the handles. So here I've got some black fondant rolled into 2 balls. I'm now going to roll them into tube shapes, after which I'll coat some sugar craft wires with some golden syrup and then insert the wires into the tubes. After that, I'll bend the tubes into a curved shape. Then when I'm done with the first handle, I'll make a second one and set them both aside to dry overnight or for several hours. Next, using some orange colored fondant, I'll roll out some carrot shapes, cut them into some sort of blocks, just like you would do if you wanted to julienne real carrots. Then I'll set them aside to dry alongside the wok handles. After making the carrot, I went on to make the other vegetables. So to make the spring onions, I got a small piece of edible wafer paper and then I lightly painted it with a little green gel color, watered down very well with some vodka. Then I rolled the wafer paper around the bubble straw and then kept it in the fridge to dry. Then to make the celery, I mixed some modeling chocolate and some fondant. Then I colored it using a drop of edible green gel color as well as some yellow. Then I toned it down with about a drop of edible red color. I then rolled it onto a bubble straw as well and then made some light lines using a ruler before cutting it to the shape of diced celery. I then put it in the fridge to harden. To make the peppers, I rolled out some red fondant and some of the green fondant left over from making the celery. I then placed them on parchment paper, cut them into square shapes and then placed them on a cylindrical object and put them in the fridge to harden. I moved on to the next step, which was making the chicken pieces. So to do this, I colored some fondant light cream using the sugar flare edible gel color in egg yellow stroke cream. Then I rolled out the fondant onto a wooden board and used the kitchen knife to cut it into small uneven pieces with irregular shapes, just like normal chicken bite pieces. After doing this, I used the blowtorch to burn the pieces slightly in order to give it the golden brown color. By the time I had finished with the chicken, the pieces for the peppers had hardened a bit, so I brought them out to paint their outer surfaces. So for the red pepper, I painted it with some red extra gel food color, watered down with some vodka. And for the green peppers, I painted it with a drop of green gel color, some yellow and a tiny drop of red, watered down with vodka. When I was done with painting the peppers, I brought the celery out and then using the same mixture which I used to paint the green pepper, I painted the surface of the celery. After this, I put all the painted vegetables back in the fridge to dry. The next thing I did was to prepare the cabbage and the carrot. So I had some leftover fondant from making the celery and the green pepper. So I rolled this fondant out very thinly. And then using the mixture I used to paint the peppers, I painted the surface of this fondant. Then with a kitchen knife, I cut it up into thin shredded looking pieces. Then for the carrot, remember the cubed orange pieces I prepared earlier and left to dry? I brought these pieces out and cut them up similar to matchstick pieces. Then I set both the cabbage and the carrots aside. My next step involved cutting the peppers and the celery. So I brought them out of the fridge and cut the red and green peppers into thin slices and the celery into diced pieces. I now have all my veggies prepared. I have my red and green peppers, the celery, the chicken, the cabbage, and my carrots. So we're ready to cook this meal. I colored some buttercream with some cream gel color and a drop of brown gel color, and then I spread it on top of the cake. I mixed some modeling chocolate and some fondant, and then colored it with some brown and cream food color. Then I loaded some of the paste which I formed into a sugar paste extruder, and then using this I made the noodles. So I started placing the veggies, chicken and noodles interchangeably on top of the cake. Now using the scissors, I'm just cutting in the spring onion on top of the cake. Next, I measured where the pot handles were gonna go. I did this by placing the handles on the wok and then marking the points where each end of the handle would go. Then I cut out square shapes in the places I marked and then inserted the pot handle. So here I'm just measuring from the handle that I've already fixed to know where it aligns with the other side, so I'll know where to fix the second handle. And now I'm marking the points where I'm going to fix the handle. I will now cut out square shapes in the points that I marked and remove the fondant in those places. So that's where I'm going to insert the handle through. After cutting the holes out, I'm now inserting the second handle. Next, I made a paste out of a little water and some of the black fondant which I used to cover the wok, and then started using it to fill out the cracks on the handles and also the holes where I inserted the handles.
Sure.
Okay guys, so what do you think?
It's
What
really
is this?
good. This is Chinese noodles.
Is it a cake or is it actual noodles?
No, a plate.
It's not a cake.
No, that's cake.
It's a cake. But what does it look like?
Look like
Chinese noodles.
Chinese noodles.
And do you like Chinese noodles?
Yeah?
You do?
Do.
Do. Okay.
Do.
Okay, now we're going to cut this cake and you're going to tell us what you think about the taste. So you've told us that it looks like Chinese noodles.
Mommy.
So now we're going to cut it.
What?
Let's be sure it's really Chinese. It's really cake. Okay?
The Chinese cake.
Oh,
Ooh, where?
Louis is excited.
Cake.
Yeah. Say,
Eat you.
it is cake. Louis, you say it's you. Say, it's all cake. Okay. So I'm going to give you a taste. Who's going to try first?
Me?
So these are our judges. Judges from the popular TV show called Little Chefs. So they are going to give us their Louis, hang on. They're going to give us their opinion on what the cake tastes like.
What is?
What? Well, I would like to see that the cake tastes nice.
Tastes nice. Louis, how about you? Is it yummy?
Yummy.
It's yummy. Yes.
Funny.
Okay. So thank you guys for joining us once again on this channel. I hope you enjoyed the video. The next country we're going to feature on the cultural diversity in food series is Italy. So I hope you stop by. Thank you. So I hope you stop by then. But until then, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, click like on the videos, and also share with your family and friends. I hope you stop by for our next video, which promises to be a very interesting one as well. So guys, do you have anything to say to our viewers?
Press the subscribe button, like, share with your friends, and click the bell to get a notification.
Okay.
Please, we need more subscribers.
Okay, good.
Cake.
Oh, eat your cake. Louis, is that what
We
you have to say
also
to our
need
video?
your support.
Louis, can you say subscribe?
Subscribe,
Please.
please.
Okay, guys. Thank you. Till next time. Take care of yourselves and keep safe. Bye. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.